Gamers, welcome in to another Kilobyte build video. Today I have another Endless Archive build, and this time it's the Templar. This build has so much survivability to make it nice and easy to get through the early rounds and to keep you alive through the later rounds. This build is also super easy to play with a really easy rotation, so it's great for beginners. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, but of course let's get straight into the build. Right, welcome into the archive. Today we've got a Templar build. Now, I've mainly just been playing this solo. In fact, I haven't played it duo at all. It works awesome in solo, and I think it would work even better with a friend, as most things usually do. So let's get into the stats first. First of all, we are an Imperial. That gives us reduced cost on all of our abilities, which is really nice. Really helps us sustain. Really great for Templar. I love Imperial. We have 64 points into health, all of them into health. This is going to be really helpful in the later rounds when you're getting hit super hard for like 20k hits. You really want a big health pool, so we have over 44k, we have 16k magicka and almost 16k stamina as well, which may seem a little low, but it's PvE. We got really nice sustain. Speaking of, we got unbuffed 1.4, 1.5k magicka recovery and about 1.2k stamina recovery. Weapon and spell damage 3,500. We got crit chance at 44%, and we do have low penetration, but that's not too bad. And our resistances, we get well over 20k when fully buffed. For the Mundus, we are going with the Shadow, increased crit damage and crit healing by 14%. This is really nice for PvE. And for our food, we've gone Jaws of Misrule, which increases stamina and magicka recovery and max health. Okay, so that's, I think, everything. Oh, just for the potions, we are going for the Tri Potions, just to help us sustain a little bit more. Okay, so let's get into the sets. Bit of a weird setup, but I found out it works. It's not fully DPS. Like I said earlier, you need a lot of survivability, especially for the later rounds, and especially if you're solo. So I found a really nice balance here. First of all, we're going with Order's Wrath. This gives you crit chance, weapon and spell damage, crit chance, more crit chance, and then increases your crit damage and crit healing by 8%. So we've got huge crit. That's just going to absolutely melt the ads. This is a really nice go-to. So we've got it on 2 daggers, dual wield daggers, and then we have it on the feet, legs, and hands. So that way it's active on our front bar at all times, so we can get the most damage. And then on the back bar, we have a Maelstrom Perfected Greatsword. You can get this from Maelstrom Arena. You don't need the perfected version because it just adds penetration, but the 2-piece, when you crit charge, stirs up a Barbarous Lust for Battle within you, up to 18 seconds, increasing your damage done with direct damage attacks by 329, up to a maximum of 560, and it scales off your higher of your weapon and spell damage. So if we buff up, you can see every direct damage hit will do an extra 384, and we are using jabs, so that's a lot of damage. So yeah, we have that on the back bar. For the jewelry, we have 2-piece endurance, just for the extra maximum health. And then we have a Ring of the Pale Order. This is a mythic item. It restores 20% of the damage you deal as health. This value is decreased by 4% per ally you are grouped with. Cannot be healed by anyone but yourself, your pets, or your companions. So this works really well solo, especially. I think it works well duo as well, as long as you're not running with a healer. Like if they're doing their own thing as well, it really helps for you. So it just means you can heal as you're doing damage, so you don't need to stop and heal yourself. You can just absolutely power through, and it keeps you topped up at all times. So I really recommend Pale Order. Absolutely love it. Then we're going for 2-piece trainee on the body as well. This gives us a lot of health and a lot of magicka. So we have that on the chest and the belt. And then we have a monster set. We've gone with Thurvoken. This is from Fang Lair. It gives you maximum health, and then when you take damage from a nearby enemy, you summon a growing pool of desecrated bile for 8 seconds. Enemies in the bile take disease damage every 1 second, are inflicted with minor maim and a disease status for 4 seconds, reducing their damage done healing received, and health recovery. Health recovery and healing received doesn't matter too much. They do heal in some rounds, but you want it for the minor maim, so 5% reduced damage. Really handy, really nice to have. So of course this is on the helm and shoulder. So I know that's kind of all over the place. Let's go over it. Order's Wrath on dual wield daggers, and then 3 body pieces. 2 trainee on the body. Monster set, Thurvoken on the helm and shoulder. 2-piece endurance on the necklace of 1 ring. Pale Order for the other ring. And Maelstrom back bar. So for weights and traits, I do have Known Hound on the back bar. You could probably go defending or powered. They will probably help you out a bit more. But the front bar, we have 1 Known Hound for the extra damage and 1 precise for the extra weapon and spell critical. And for our jewelry, we have an arcane stam recovery. Could probably do it infused stam recovery. That might help a little bit more. But arcane is really nice too. We have a healthy magicka recovery on the other endurance for more health again. And we have an infused magicka recovery on the Pale Order. So they're all recovery, just 2 magicka, 1 stamina. And then for the armor, we have 4 heavy. So I currently have it on the helm, chest, belt, and legs. Really increases our survivability, gets our resistances up. And then we have 1 light on the feet, and then 2 medium. Just make sure you get the heavy on the big pieces, the helm, chest, and legs, because that will give you the most bang for your buck. But yeah, and then for enchants, we've got a bit of a mix. I've got a lot of health on. In fact, I think I got 5 health, 1 magicka, and 1 stamina. You could go all health if you want extra survivability. It's nice to have a little bit more max resource. But yeah, again, it's all about, especially for the later rounds, you want to stay alive more than you want to do damage. So yeah, that's the gear. It's kind of all over the place, but I found a really nice balance where, like, especially for the earlier rounds, you can power through them. You do quite a lot of damage, especially with your crits. And then for the later rounds, you have enough survivability to tank whatever you need to. So let's move on to skills. So first up, we've got Puncturing Sweeps. This is your main spammable. You jab relentlessly at your enemies 3 times with your Adric Spear. The spear deals magic damage to the closest enemy and slightly less damage to all other enemies. Each strike reduces the movement speed of the closest enemy, so it can keep them in the AoE, which is nice. But the main reason we're using this morph is because it heals you for the damage done as well. So as you're jabbing, you're doing quite a lot of damage, especially if you get the Maelstrom back bar buff as well. So you're doing a huge amount of damage, and you're healing in return, and you're healing from Pale Order as well. So that honestly just keeps you at 100% health really nicely. So spam that to your heart's content. Next up, we have Solar Barrage. Conjure solar energy to blast enemies around you, dealing magic damage every 2 seconds, increasing your damage done with class abilities by 5%. So this makes our jab stronger, and our Radiant Destruction as well. And you gain power, increasing your damage of your heavy attacks if you need it. So it's a really nice skill to have. We've gone for Barb Trap. This places a trap on the floor which immobilizes enemy. It makes them bleed, but the main reason we're using it is for the minor force, increasing the crit damage by 10%. So an extra 10% damage, really nice. And it has a higher chance to apply hemorrhaging as well, which is good. We've gone for Radiant Oppression. This is your execute, deals a huge amount of magic damage and deals 500% more damage to enemies below 50% health. If you feel like you need the other morph that heals and gets magicka back, you could take that, but I've just gone for the full damage. Then I've gone for Camouflage Hunter. This is a skill I don't use, but I have it slotted for the Major Savagery and Prophecy, increasing the weapon and spell crit. And you get minor berserk when you are dealing crit damage from the enemy's flank, and you get extra damage because of the Fighter's Guild passive. So I don't use this, but it's really nice to have on the bar. And then for the front bar ultimate, we have Flawless Dawnbreaker, not Dawnbreaker or Smiting. We have the one that gives you weapon and spell damage after you use it. So this is nice if you just need to clean up some enemies, but you don't have enough ultimate for your back bar. Your back bar ultimate, which we have Meteor. So yeah, it's really nice, and it makes you stronger for the next lot of attacks. For 20 seconds as well, which is quite a long time. Then on the back bar we have Channeled Focus. This is your major resolve, increasing your physical and spell resistance. And we've gone for the morph that gives you Magicka back, because we are going to be spamming the Magicka version of sweeps, so we like some Magicka back. And it's a really nice heal as well, and if you stand in the rune it gives you even more healing. So we have Stampede. This is what's going to be used to proc our Merciless Charge. So this is going to be, after we buff up, this is going to be the first skill that makes us run in and do it, and then it does a AoE on the floor, which does damage every second to enemies, and then of course we switch to our front bar and start jabbing. Next I have Blinding Flare. I have this is kind of a flex spot. For the earlier rounds, I definitely go Caltrops, because Caltrops will give you extra damage, reduce their movement speed, and it will give you Major Breach as well. But when you get to the later rounds, damage becomes less important because it's just so hard to stay alive. So I tried out a couple of different things, but I really liked Blinding Flare just because I could put it on the bar and it gives you major protection, reducing your damage taken by 10%, which is a really nice buff. And it also means I don't ever have to use it either. So first of all, it makes the rotation simpler. And second of all, it saves on your sustain because you're not having to use an extra skill, you know? So like I've only got technically 4 skills on the front bar and 4 skills on the back bar, and I don't ever use Camo Hunter and I don't ever use Blinding Flare. So it really helps the sustain in that way. But yeah, like I said, it's a flex spot. You can flex whatever you want in here, whatever feels the most comfortable. Next I've gone for Honor the Dead. This is a nice burst heal, keeps us alive, and healing anyone who is below 75% health. Restores 80% of the ability's cost every 2 seconds over 6 seconds. So really nice Magicka sustained skill as well. If you want, you could go Vigor. Just get the Minor Resolve 2. I preferred having a bit more of a burst heal because, you know, Vigor's heal over time. It is a very quick heal over time. But, you know, I just kind of like this burst. And then I've gone for Rally. This is one of my favorites. This is your Major Brutality and Sorcery, increasing your damage by 20%, Minor Endurance, increasing your stamina recovery, and a really nice heal over time, and a burst heal when it ends. So this is a lifesaver as well. So as you can tell, you have so much heals, especially when you've got this going for heal over time, you've got this going for heal over time, you've got your jabs going which are healing you, and you've got your Pale Order. That's just, you know, you're staying at 100% health all the time. So it's really nice. And then my main ultimate on the back bar, Shooting Star. Cooldown a comet from the constellations, does huge flame damage to enemies in the area, knocks them down, and then does flame damage AoE as well. And you get ultimate back as well, so you can use it quite often. Yeah, really nice. This is my go-to. This is especially what I use to burn down bosses, especially stationary bosses. And yeah, so yeah, this is pretty much a must-have. Okay, welcome back to my wonderfully furnished home. I'm just gonna show you the rotation. There's really not that much to it. It's pretty simple. So as you're running into a fight, you want to buff up. So of course you want to hit your rally first. Then I usually hit Rune Focus, and then I'm going to be crit charging. So what I would usually do is get close enough to either heavy or light attack straight into crit charge. So I'll usually throw a heavy into crit, and then I'll switch bar. I'll light attack trap, light attack solar barrage, and then light attack jabs, and then like that's all you have to do till it gets down to about 50% health, and then you just light attack and then radiant destruction. Just make sure you keep rotating the buffs. Whenever that crit charge AoE disappears, reapply it, and you know, that's it. It's really that simple. And of course weave in your ultimates whenever you need them. But there we go. Okay, so now I'm just going to show you the champ points. Of course, green is all the normal, nothing too crazy going on in there. For the blue tree, we have Fighting Finesse, increasing your crit damage and crit healing by 4% per stage, so a total of 8% crit. Really nice because we're doing a lot of crits. Thaumaturge, increasing your damage down with damage over time effects by a total of 6%. So we have a few of those. I believe our jabs also counts as that, so that buffs that. Binding Aura, increasing your damage done with Air of Effect. We have a lot of them, so it's really nice. And then Master at Arms, increasing your damage done with direct damage attacks. Again, just more damage across the board. For the red tree, we have Celerity, increasing your movement speed by 10%. I always love this, it's really nice. It just feels better to be able to move quicker as well. Rejuvenation, an extra 90 health, magicka, and stamina recovery. You could probably flex this out for something else, but it felt quite good to me just to have a tiny bit more recovery. Siphoning spells restore magicka per stage whenever you kill an enemy. 1,500 magicka whenever you kill an enemy is really nice. And then fortified grants extra armor per stage. So there we go. Good luck in the archive. I hope it goes well for you. Like I said, I've been having a good time on this build. Been playing it solo. Got to do some more duos soon. So yeah, enjoy. And that's it for the build. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this build treats you well. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and of course subscribe to the channel for more Carlobite content. Let me know down in the comments how far through the archive you got. I'm really curious to see how far people make it. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Have yourself a good day and I'll see you in the next one.